everybody and welcome to Dynamic GT League's Red Bull Junior Championship Race 2 from the Brazil GP. Let's take a look at the standings after round 1. Demon R leading the way on 20 points with SGP on 17, and then Twilight in third on 15, closely followed by SRI with 13, Dave the Harp on 10, and then we've got Fluffy Planet, Hulkenberg, Bunsel, Rich Blues, Formula Gary, Groover, Steve F1, Dex, Iceman, Rodders, GT5 King and Tyler, with Jason on -3 points. A couple of drivers did get penalties at the last race. Unfortunately Jason didn't finish the race, so he's on the minus. Quick look at the qualifying order for today's race, and Steve F1 takes pole position by a tiny margin to Demon R. Dave the Harp in third place with James Hulkenberg rounding out the second row. DGT League SGP takes 5th with Twilight 6th, Fluffy Planet 7th for the second race in a row, Groover in 8th, Jason 9th, Formula Gary 10th, and then we've got Rich Blues, first race on a wheel for him, and then debut for Dex Sidrum. DGT League SRI is 13th with GT5 King 786 also making his debut. Now before we get over to the race footage, we've got a quick message, well, it's about a minute long, but a quick message from the DGT League admins. Okay then, it's time to get on with the race, so over to our clinically insane commentary team. Thank you for that brilliant introduction, Dave, and you're now joining me, Dave and James from I'll Tell You What TV.
Ooh, we're getting ready for the race. Here we go.
The drivers are ready. It's going to be a great race. 28 laps around the Brazil circuit. Steve F1 on pole position for the first time this championship, and away they go, but it's a bad start for Steve F1 and Demon R's into the lead straight away.
It's a really bad start, and I think Dave the Art's trying it round the outside of Steve F1 into turn 1.
He is, he's made the move. He's got the inside line for turn 2. Steve F1 is down to 4th now. No, he's 3rd. The SGP is challenging him, and here comes Hulkenberg. Hulkenberg is going to have a look at the inside. He always does. 3 wide down, heading up towards turn 4, and Demon R leads the way. But what are these three going to do? SGP is going late on the brakes. Hulkenberg going sensible, and Steve F1 now down to 5th.
Yeah, so Paul set a really bad start, and there is Demon R now leading the race. Oh, Steve F1 trying it back on James Hulkenberg up the inside. Fantastic move there from Steve F1. And it looks to me as if Twilight is trying it also on James Hulkenberg, but Dave the Arp, he is closing in on Demon R for the lead.
That he is, but Steve F1 is all over the back of SGP. Now Steve F1 was sitting on pole position because he was the fastest in qualifying. He has got pace around here, but Hulkenberg looking up the inside. No, he's not going to make that work. But yeah, Steve F1 is rapid around this particular track. So I'm wondering whether he's on a different tyre, James, than the super soft tyre, or whether he just had a poor start, bogged it down.
No, I think he had a poor start. I mean, yeah, weird how both Steve F1 and Dave the Art didn't seem to have the greatest of starts, but they were on the racing line on the starting grid. Seems like the best side of the grid to start were on the left-hand side, but here goes Steve F1 now on SGP down towards turn 1, under braking. Steve F1 takes it round the outside. Fantastic move there from Steve F1.
That is absolutely brilliant. We've been bigging this guy up for quite a while now, and he's showing it exactly why we have been doing there. That's a brilliant brilliant overtaker. Not easy to go around the outside of turn 1. Up at the front though, Dave the Harp is still all over the gearbox of Demon R, but not close enough to attack, whereas SGP is right on the back of Steve F1. And to be fair, Hulkenberg is dropping off a little bit to SGP, and Twilight's right behind him actually. Twilight having another good run after his podium last time out.
So yeah, Steve F1 now, can he close in on the leading 2 of Demon R and Dave the Art? Oh, Demon R run a bit wide there.
That he did. We did get to see though the little bit of a gap forming between Demon R and Dave the Harp, and Steve F1 is all over the back of Dave the Harp already, and I think Hulkenberg has closed in on the back of SGP. Yes, he has. The 2 behind Steve F1 right there.
Yeah, so Dave the Art running wide there through the final
not as wide
corner.
as Hulkenberg.
But that could give Steve F1 a run. Could he do the same move down towards turn 1?
I'm wondering whether he's been practicing it around the outside, thinking that everyone's going to try and defend the inside line. So he is. He's going for the racing line around the outside. What can Dave the Harp do? Can he brake late? Can he hold him off? They're going to go side by side, and Dave the Harp covers him off. That's a beautiful bit of defending, but he got a bit sideways. That's going to give Steve F1 a brilliant run down towards turn 4, and I'm merging my words.
Well, it is hard, but here we go. Steve F1 up the inside of Dave the Art, down towards turn 4, under braking. Dave the Art keeping it round the outside. How did he do that? I do not know. But SGP's lost out there to Hulkenberg.
That he has, and I have just checked. You're wrong, James. It isn't hard. But yeah, SGP and Hulkenberg still fighting it out through turn 6. Hulkenberg going for a bit of a switchback. He's up the inside. Is he going to go on the brakes late? Yes, he is. Squeezing his way in there a little bit, but a little bit of rubbing is racing.
SGP giving him a little love tap back, and almost lost the rear end there, did Hulkenberg.
Yeah, and Twilight, he's getting in on this as well. This is turning into a bit of a 6-way battle here. Steve F1 though, all over the back of Dave the Harp again, so Dave the Harp has fended him off for the whole lap, but he's gone defensive into the final corner. Young cow, that could compromise him up the main straight.
Yeah, but Steve F1 needs to get on with this, because Demon Art's just pulling away like a demon right now, and Dave the Arp is just slowing Steve F1 down. But here we go, once again, under braking down towards turn 1. I think Steve F1 may have this one.
He is slightly ahead. Actually, no, Dave's gone late on the brakes again. That's a beautiful bit of driving from the pair of them. Dave knows how to defend turn 1 here, obviously.
Definitely. But Steve F1 trying it round the outside. He's going for the inside now. Fantastic switchback there. Down towards turn 4. I think he's going to have this one easy, Dave the Art. I don't think he's going to be able to hold on to this.
No, it's very difficult to hold the outside of turn 4, exactly for that reason there, as Dave the Harp showed. You can so easily just run a wheel off the grass. A wheel off the grass, a wheel onto the AstroTurf. If you're putting your wheel off the grass, you're going in the right direction. But you are. You were right, James, though. Demon R is running away at the moment. But to be fair, in the last race at the Red Bull Ring, we saw Dave the Harp storm off to a massive lead, and the rest of the race didn't go his way. So I don't think this will be over even with Demon R leading, because Steve F1 has shown he has pace around this track.
Yeah, and it looks like James Hulkenberg now is closing in on the back of Dave the Art. Dave the Art doesn't seem to have the race pace, unfortunately. But yeah, there's now about a 4-second gap between Demon R and Steve F1 in P2.
Yeah, I will just mention as well that there is a bit of a gap forming between 6th and 7th, and as we go and have a look at them now, I was going to say that obviously we're 4 laps in and we've not had much of a look at these guys, but unfortunately battles nearer the front take priority. But these are 2 wide and then 3 wide. This could get interesting as GT5 King finds himself in the middle of his pack, with Dex, who are both on their debuts.
Just to let you know, James Hulkenberg is exiting the pit lane right now, and he's going to come out right behind this pack.
Oh, I think someone's just ended up in the barrier at turn 2. Yes, they have. I think it may have been... was it Groover? No, it wasn't Groover. It was Fluffy Planet. He was into the barrier. But Formula Gary coming under pressure from Jason. Jason sitting in 7th. I wouldn't be surprised if we see him further up the grid later on in the race. But what is the... Oh, Dex and... was that GT5 King or was that SRI? It was SRI.
So James Hulkenberg's just come out of the pit lane on brand new fresh tyres, but that's a very, very early pit stop, as he did last week. and now he's coming up behind the pack. He needs to dispose of these ASAP, because he will be effectively fighting the top guys, but if he gets held up here, that could be game over.
Oh, Groover having a look up the inside, but Hulkenberg, he's trying to squeeze through there as well. I think Groover was looking at attacking someone else. GT5 King now trying to get side by side with Jason. Oh, GT5 King getting a little bit wiggly up towards Young Cow. And Formula Gary, I wouldn't say he's a cork in the bottle, he's leading the pack.
Yeah, he's leading the pack, but unfortunately this pack is way behind the front guys. But here we go, we've got GT5 King and Jason fighting it out for P5.
Look at them in the background. The Hulkenberg, as you said, on the fresher tyres, he can't afford to get held up here, so he is trying his best to squeeze through, but it's so frantic. Oh, a little bit of a touch between Groover and GT5 King. That could compromise them, but we're going to jump back to third and fourth because SGP has been passed actually by Twilight. Twilight is ahead of SGP. We've missed the move. That's unfortunate for Twilight. Sorry about that, Twilight. Blame SGP. He's in control of the cameras.
Oh, so SGP, he's trying it back on Twilight, but this is strange. This is really strange for SGP. Oh, he's run wide there, SGP. Oh, Hulkenberg.
He's having a bit of an off.
Just a bit, yeah. I think he was getting shoved off the track there, and he won't be appreciating that. And that's Dave the Arp. He's pitted and he's come out in front of James Hulkenberg as well. So the undercut hasn't worked for Hulkenberg. That's how costly it's been. Oh, Dave the Arp's just giving him a little bit of a tap as well. So yeah, the undercut hasn't worked for Hulkenberg because he's got into the pack. But I don't know if you saw, James, what tyres Hulkenberg started on and what tyres he might be on now. Oh, Dave the Arp! He's been pushed off by a caramel biscuit. Yeah, he has. Yeah, so let's have a look at
Demon R, race leader, into the pits.
Right, so it's really triggering a bit of a concertina effect, but James Hulkenberg is in P8. He needs to get through this pack as quick as possible. Dave the Arch has shown that the undercut is not working. Here we go now. Is he going to be able to get P6? What do you think?
I'm thinking it's Hulkenberg. He's going to go for it, isn't he? Yeah, there you go. He's going to go for P4 as well. Holy cow! He might make it work. That was very, very opportunistic, and he didn't want to shove Formula Gary off the track there, but he pretty much lost his temper there. Yeah, I just want to mention as well, crucially for Demon R, is GT5 King having a look at Formula Gary. Oh, is that Groover? That is Groover having a look, but fair play. GT5 King saw him come in, gave him the room, allows him to carry on fighting. Yeah, Demon R came out ahead of the pack. He's the next car up the road in front of Hulkenberg, so there's probably about a 7-second gap between Demon R and Hulkenberg, which means that potentially Steve F1, Twilight and SGP could all pit and get out just in front of this pack. Yeah, indeed. Oh, Hulkenberg there wiggling away, and there is the Arp. He's still stuck in the pack. He's up the inside of GT5 King, and yeah, he's giving him a bit of his taste of his own medicine there, it looks like. Yeah, that's the caramel biscuit that gave him a nudge, so I think he just squeezed him out of road there. Just want to quickly mention as well, in case we don't get to spot him on camera, as SGP is into the pits, so there's Demon R. He was the race leader. SGP has pitted. I've got a feeling SGP is going to come out in the pack, you know. Possibly. He really could do with getting out. Luckily for SGP, a lot of the pack are starting to pit now. Yeah, that's true. I just want to mention as well, Rich Blues there in camera shot with a fantastic Jamaican livery. He's actually doing his first race today on a wheel, so it'll be interesting to see how his arms are feeling the day after the race. Yeah, it could be interesting, but there is SGP coming out of the pit lane just in front of Dave the Arp. Dave the Arp will be forming, but that means that SGP has come out just a few seconds behind James Hulkenberg. It's not very often the overcut has worked in the DGT League, but for SGP it did there because Dave the Harp was ahead of him, I believe, before Dave the Harp made his pit stop, so it's been massively costly. Obviously Dave did find himself nudged onto the grass a little bit, but that pack has been so costly for Dave the Harp, and he's now on slightly older tyres. But SGP, I was going to say SGP's been the last of the leaders to pit, but he actually hasn't. Steve F1 and Twilight have not stopped yet, and we're past the 10-minute mark, James. Yeah, we are past the 10-minute mark, and SGP's tyres are just coming up to temperature, but unfortunately Dave the Arp's right on his tail again, and the last thing SGP needs is Dave the Arp shoving it up the inside into towards turn 1. Definitely. Okay, Formula Gary coming under pressure from Rich Blues. To be fair, Formula Gary also went to a wheel recently as well, partway through last season. But Rich Blues is going for the overtake down the main straight, is he? Yes, he is. And is he going to make the move work? Oh, what a move. Nicely done there by Rich Blues. But here comes SRI in the background as well. He'll be getting plenty of slipstream.
Oh.
Formula Gary's going back for it, and so's SRI. He's not hanging about, is he?
No, Rich Blues, absolutely fantastic racing line that he's taking, but unfortunately just not as confident on the brakes as some other people. But I think we may have a pitter. No, we don't know.
No, we haven't got a pitter, it's a nap. And a name's Cheryl.
There's a bargee. There's a bargee from SRI. There's a bargee. Gary out the way there.
Nah, that's a beautiful move, I reckon. Can't overtake if you're Scottish without a little bit of contact.
Yeah, battered bargee. That'd be great.
It might actually. It might. You got me thinking
there. Try it out.
Yeah, dare anyone to cook a battered bargee. It probably it's going to end up looking like Grand Tour's version of spaghetti McBolognese.
I've got
Steve F1's in the pits. Go on.
Yeah, SGP, I were expecting him to pull away from Davey Arp on fresher tyres, even though it was only probably 2 laps fresher. He's not had the pace to pull away from Dave the Arp.
I'm wondering if he's on a different set of tyres. With Dave the Arp having pitted early-ish, I'm thinking he's on the super soft tyre. I wouldn't be surprised if SGP is on the soft tyre. We'll have to check that out next time SGP pitters. But Steve F1 and Twilight have both pitted, so where's Steve F1 going to come out in relevance to Demon R? He's miles behind. He's a long way behind, but crucially for him, he's right in front of Hulkenberg, SGP and Dave the Harp.
Yeah, so that overcut has really worked for Steve F1 massively. Twilight has come out just behind Dave the Harp, so he could be a feature later on in this stint, but right now SGP is fighting for his life to keep in front of Dave the Harp, which is interesting. But yeah, Steve F1 is in the pound seat. He's pulling away now from James Hulkenberg. And yeah, he's got fantastic tyres now. Yeah, I mean, Hulkenberg's on older tyres, obviously all GT5 King. Jason battling it out through the middle sector, going side by side. Caramel Biscuit versus IKEA hazard warning sign. It's also got Jason's also got Dime Bar representing him, so it's Dime versus Caramel. Oh yeah, that is true. We do have another biscuit or chocolate treat rivalry going on. I tell you what, SGP's pulled away from Dave the Arp now. I'm wondering if Dave the Arp's tyres have started going off a little bit. And SGP is all over the back of Hulkenberg. Is Dave the Arp going for the pits? No, he's not. No, he's not. But this under braking, James Hulkenberg has been very, very late on brakes most times through turn 1. I doubt anyone's going to be able to beat him on the brakes today, but SGP's giving him a good run for the money. That he is. And what is Hulkenberg going to do? Is Hulkenberg going to go defensive? It doesn't look like it. Is SGP going to chuck it up the inside? No, he's... Oh, yes he is! Yes he is! Oh, but Hulkenberg spotted him coming, but Hulkenberg is having absolutely none of it. Yeah, so he spotted that SGP had chucked it up the inside and just thought, well, as long as I leave a car's width to the apex, I'm keeping my foot in here. Yeah, definitely. Oh, but SGP is going for it again. Oh, I think he may have backed out of that one, having to take a little bit too much curb. But this little fight is allowing Dave the Harp to catch back up to SGP and all over the back of him. I'm trying to think about what Steve F1 might be doing with strategy. I'll get onto that in a moment, because Hulkenberg is trying to go defensive without losing too much time by the looks of it. SGP looks like he's trying to get a shift on. Is he going up the inside into Young Cow? No. No, that was quite interesting there. I really did think SGP was going to get that. So but unfortunately, Hulkenberg, yeah, he just got them big balls of steel out and just managed to keep in front. But I don't think it's going to be for long. No. Having said that, though, with SGP being as close as he was, he's not getting much of a benefit of slipstream, whereas slipstream works better from a slightly further distance. See, he's so close to him, he's not getting a boost of speed, he's just getting a slight gain of speed and then running out of road. Yeah, so SGP is on 4 lap pressure tyres than James Hulkenberg, he really does need to get a bit of a shift on now.
Hulkenberg goes defensive this time, but that's going to allow Dave the Harp to have a sneaky look at SGP. SGP nearly loses it. I don't know if that was a kind of like, I need to cover Dave off, or I think the rear was just... He's having a look into turn 6. It's a brave move to try that one up the inside into turn 6, but he is going to try it side by side into turn 8. It is now, I believe, and he gets ahead, but can he keep hold of it? 'Cause he's offline.
Fantastic move there from SGP, but here we go up the hill. Hulkenberg trying to come back.
That he is. SGP covers the inside line. No, Hulkenberg, he'll go for a switchback, won't he? Yes, he will. But Dave the Harp's up the inside of him as well, so he can't fully go for it. This is absolutely bonkers.
Yeah, so right now we're on lap 12. James Hulkenberg's tyres are just over 6.5 laps old, whereas, but I think SGP's are only 4 laps old, so he should be able to pull away now.
Dave the Harp heading for the pit lane. I was going to mention as well that Twilight, because these three have been fighting, Twilight has been closing up. Demon R still leading from Steve F1, but Steve F1 is closing the gap. I think Hulkenberg and SGP, they were side by side, but SGP manages to get ahead, or was he already ahead? I can't remember.
Yeah,
it was only 30 seconds. It was only 30 seconds ago, but I can't remember. Yeah, okay, I was going to mention about Steve F1's strategy for a moment, James, so if you see anything, feel free to cut me off.
Yeah.
Steve F1 pitted with about 13 minutes of the race gone. It's a 40-minute race effectively, works out at 28 laps. Pitting at 13 minutes, I'm thinking that might be a 2-stop strategy, but with Demon R pitting at 9 minutes, I'm thinking that's a 3-stop strategy.
Possibly, but right now Dave the Harp, he's really struggled last time coming through the pack. This time he needs to take absolutely no prisoners and just assert his authority, thinking, I've got fresher tyres, move out my way. And here we go, he's in P10. Let's see how he gets on.
No, he's in P11. No, you're not wrong though. I mean, to be fair, in this league, you do have to be cautious. You've got to be fair. You've got to race clean. You've got to give people room. But at the same time, when you are on those fresher tyres and you've come out of the pits, he's got to do this. Take the opportunities quickly, aggressively, but without punting people off, and make the moves. And he's done that right there. He's what? He's up to 8th place now? Yeah. So 2 places, 1 corner, job done. He's going to get another one right here, right now, and that's the way to do it. Not easy, but it's the way to do it.
Yeah, so right now, SGP P3, he's just had a bit of a mistake, I think, into turn 1. And that's allowing Hulkenberg to come back at him.
That it is. Excuse me. Carry on, James.
It's alright. You're okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm just going to have some beer.
Oh, here we go. Oh, SGP's gone defensive. I think he went a bit defensive a bit too early there. And that's allowed James Hulkenberg to come back at him with a switchback.
That it has. I must admit, Hulkenberg showing some decent racecraft here. Improved from the previous race and the last race of the last championship last season. Dave the Harp, you can see why we were saying he needs to get moves done, because the pack, although he's got past them, they're still right there and behind him, so they can attack him. It's a nice move going up the inside with those fresher tyres. That's the right thing to do in that particular corner in this situation. But Groover now making a move on GT5 King as well, and once again I feel like a horse racing commentator. Thankfully we don't have to shoot any of the drivers.
Yeah, but Dave the Harp, I think he's shot his way through the pack there.
I thought you were going to say something.
in one lap he's just destroyed that little midfield pack, and he's already up to P6 and on his way. But Demon Eye's in the pit lane right now, pitting and getting rid of his super softs.
Yeah, that he is. So it definitely looks like a 3-stop strategy for Demon R then. Hulkenberg, he's into the pits as well. Hulkenberg was on the soft compound tyre, you may have said that earlier.
Yes. Yeah, SGP's also followed him into the pit lane as well, so I think they're both going to end up coming out somewhere around P9.
Yeah, I think SRI is into the pits. So whereas Demon R going to come out, he's going to be just ahead of Twilight, is he? Yes, he is. So the only car in front of Demon R then is Steve F1, and I'm pretty sure that Demon R will have clocked on what Steve F1 is doing now, especially if he doesn't pit within the next minute or 2. Because if Steve F1 goes to about 26 minutes gone, so probably another 4 laps, it's clearly a 2-stop race for him.
So here we go then, we've got SGP, we've got James Hulkenberg there on fresh tyres. They've come out in P9 and 10, and yeah, it's time to get busy with the pack.
Oh, someone's running a little bit wide there. I think it may have been Groover. Yes, it was, because Fluffy Planet has just made the move up the inside of him. SGP, though, making the move, or trying to, on Hulkenberg. Hulkenberg getting very sideways there.
I think that was pretty much him getting on the throttle as if to say, nope, you're not coming through here. But SGP trying it round the outside. This is really difficult for these two guys. They want to try and make their way through the pack, but at the same time, they've got to be looking in the mirrors for each other.
Rick GT Viking, where's he going? Oh, I don't think Hulkenberg likes those caramel biscuits.
Yeah, I think he just kicked that caramel biscuit out of the way there.
It's not a proper caramelised biscuit unless it's been battered.
Well, it's well and truly been battered now. But SGP in the slipstream of James Hulkenberg. But luckily for Hulkenberg, he's getting a bit of a slipstream from Groover.
That he is. I mean, you were mentioning that it's not easy for Hulkenberg and SGP to get through the pack, and you're not wrong, especially when you've got two guys that are fighting for position side by side in front of you. To be honest, when there's two cars side by side in front of you, it's not a situation you want to really be trying to attack. You have to wait for that perfect opportunity. Where's Hulkenberg going? Oh, I thought he'd seen a different racetrack then.
I think he was just trying to put Groover off in the mirrors, and I think it's worked.
It has, because Groover's taken a tight line, and that's given Hulkenberg the run up the inside into turn 6. He's already ahead. Is SGP going to try and follow him? Yes, he is, but he's doing it cautiously because Groover's pinched into the apex, as he was allowed to do there. I just will quickly mention as well at this point, obviously in the Dynamic GT League, it's mainly just for fun, and there are certain rules, things like if you hit someone off, you wait for them and stuff like that. I mean, drivers can place reports if they want to. There's SGP and Groover getting a bit physical, but a little bit of door banging is not too bad. I mean, obviously the admins, they don't want people sending reports every single race, but if someone does something really stupid, then yeah, by all means you can report them. And just to let everybody know, any race reports that are done will be handed to me by the stewards at the end of the race, and I'll be able to mention them just before we go through the final race standings. Okay, sorry, I just had to get that out there, James, just in case some of the drivers didn't realise and they stopped watching right at the end of the race. Formerly Gary making a move.
Yeah, he is. He's up the inside of SRI. SRI's on the grass. He's getting sucked off down at turn 1, and that's not what you want.
No, it's not. You want to be careful over there. You might shoot. Your load of biscuits. I'm hungry.
Well, that's it. You don't want to be shooting your load of biscuits when you want to be eating. But here we go. SRI now all over the back of Formula Gary. Up the inside, can he do it? No, Formula Gary covers that one off, and here we go, we've got Groover there just in front. Oh, Formula Gary, has he been nudged wide, or has he just ground braked himself? I'm not too sure, but here comes SRI now, all over the back of Groover, and I'm really getting into the Grand National spirit.
That you are. Just want to mention as well, the purple car that we can see just there, Dex, it's his debut race as SRI is attacking him. Unfortunately, he's a lap down at the moment, which means he has got super boost, but I think he's a little bit out of practice in this car around this track, so the guys in the pack are catching him up. He will be getting wave blue flags, but he's going to be fast enough to pull away. Back towards the front, Dave the Hart right behind Twilight. Twilight has not pitted for a long time. He's only made the one stop so far. Demon R, is Demon R closing up towards Steve F1? I think he is. You know, Twilight is now into the pits as SRI is all over the back of Fluffy Planet. No, it's not, it's Groover.
Yeah, so this pack in the midfield from 7th down is pretty crazy. Is anybody going to be going for the pit lane?
Formula Gary is, yes.
Right, so there we go, and there is Demon Eye, still on slightly fresher tyres compared to Steve F1, so that gap is coming down. Dave the Arp is released from, I think it was Twilight, and yeah, Fluffy Planet there, and a very nice, looks like a Gerhard Berger Ferrari there.
It does, but with newer sponsorship logos on it. Interesting. I am hearing as well that from Demon R's pit crew saying that Demon R's second stint, he was looking after the tyres as for Fluffy Planet, ain't looking after nothing. He's taking places.
Yeah, and I've got to say, I've just forgot to mention there, Twilight came out of the pit lane right in front of them two guys, so that was crucial for his strategy.
That it definitely was. Yeah, Demon R was looking after his tyres on the second stint, not realising that Steve F1 was on a two-stop strategy, but now he's realised it. Demon R is pushing hard, ignoring tyre wear. So, Steve F1, when will you make your pit stop? He'll only have one more to do. He's going to come out behind Demon R, but Demon R's going to have another pit stop to make. This battle, though, you mentioned about Twilight coming out ahead of Fluffy Planet, but Fluffy Planet is all over the back of him.
Yeah, I've got to say the undercut for fresh tyres just does not appear to be working very well at all. I mean, we've got Twilight there on fresh tyres come out in front of Fluffy Planet, who's pitted probably about 5 or 6 laps ago, and he's just sticking with him, and if anything, he's going for a move into turn 1.
That he is. He's not hanging about. I said a few moments ago, he's taking places and he's going to have a good go. But to be fair, Twilight's fresher tyres are helping him in the braking zone, so that's where the benefit of the tyre wear comes. Is that Dave the Hart coming out of the pits?
I think it is. Dave the Hart just managing to get out in front of Twilight, so that's fantastic for him. Very, very lucky.
But you're right, once again, James, the undercut hasn't worked because Twilight was actually ahead of Dave the Harp. He's pitted a lap or two earlier and come out behind Dave the Harp.
Yeah, very, very odd. But here we go. There's the race leader, Steve F1, and yeah, it's only about 2 seconds back to P2. There's Demon R.
Yeah.
Demon R, he's got a decision to make. Does he go one less pit stop?
I don't think there's any way he's going to get to the end. I would question whether he follows Steve F1 into the pits on this lap. Steve F1 is into the pits and Demon R isn't. Demon R has continued on. So is Steve F1 going to get a benefit of pitting that lap earlier? Or what is Demon R going to be able to do? We'll have to wait and see. Twilight opened up a little bit of a gap now to Fluffy Planet. SRI coming under pressure from Jason, who's now in 9th. Still wouldn't be surprised if we end up seeing him fighting for something like the podium by the time this race is done. That's what he does, isn't it, James? He just appears.
Yeah, it is very, very quiet race, and then all of a sudden gets a bit of a spurt on near the end of the race, and there is James Hulkenberg in P3. I don't know why we're seeing him, but yeah, there's P1, there's Demon R. And there is P2. So Steve F1's come out of the pit lane. I think what we're trying to establish there is Steve F1's come out of the pit lane just in front of James Hulkenberg.
Yeah, that he has. And Steve F1 is about 12 seconds behind Demon R, and you lose about 14 seconds making the pit stop. So the question is, will Demon R now lose time in comparison to Steve F1? We'll keep an eye on that as Fluffy Planet is still trying to catch up to Twilight, but Jason making a move on SRI as SRI ran a little bit wide, and here comes Rich Blues as well.
Dave the Art were under attack there from Twilight, so once again the fresher tyres just do not seem to be switching on very quickly, and it seems to me like if you've got heat in your tyres, it's better than having fresh tyres just for that first couple of laps.
Maybe, or could it be that these cars are just so good in a slipstream that even if your tyres are gone a little bit, Demon R is into the pits, by the way, folks, so where will he come out? But yeah, could it be that if you've got slightly worn tyres, you don't lose that much because the slipstream is so powerful?
Possibly. But Demon R needs to come out of the pit lane in front of James Hulkenberg if he's got any chance of fighting Steve F1 for the lead.
Yeah, SRI making a move on Jason though as they go side by side up the hill. SRI, I thought he was going to go for the pit lane. No, he's not. Here comes Rich Blues as well. I don't know if we're going to see the rest of that move, or we might do. Jason, he's got side by side with SRI still. Rich Blues is still there. He was looking to attacking, but then he realised there's 2 cars trying to pick him off, as well as Groover is trying to do that up the inside as Jason still trying to close in the back of SRI, and holy cow, I'm going to have no voice after this.
Yes, Demon R, after going 1 lap longer, he's still not too far behind Steve F1 now. Probably the same gap as it was pre-pit stop.
I think you might be right there, James. And not only that, he's now got slightly fresher tyres.
So there we go, SRI up the inside of Jason, but Jason's carrying the speed.
That he is. I mean, Jason is a bit of a veteran when it comes to racing. He knows how to drive. He knows how to be consistent as well. I mean, he tends to try and keep out of trouble and maximise whatever he has on offer that day.
Indeed, but I heard from him midway. Oh, Formula Gary out of nowhere there. Absolutely mugged SRI, caught him napping there, and he's off down the road. But here we go, SGP now closing back in on James Hulkenberg.
That he is. I mean, we saw these two battling earlier on. I mean, to be fair, Hulkenberg's heading into the pits.
Yeah, so SGP carrying on for 1 lap more, but SRI's coming back at Formula Gary.
He's not only coming back at Formula Gary, he's coming back at Jason as well. Is he got...
I think
he's in the pits.
Gone into the pit lane. Yeah.
Okay, so Jason's going to have to deal with Formula Gary. Formula Gary's got deep there, hasn't he, I think?
Unless he's just got fantastic brakes, but yeah, SGP carrying on for an extra lap. Is that going to be the winning ticket to get in front of James Hulkenberg, or oh no, he's run wide, and that could give. Oh, he's hit the wall.
He has, and that's let the lap car of Dex through. So SGP in a pretty tricky situation here. Oh, Formula Gary, he's gone off again. Well, I say again, we don't know if he went off before, but he's gone off that time. So that's GT5 King through. Jason's got through. Fluffy Planet is there as well. Jason's trying to attack him. Holy Cow, as per usual. By the way, Holy Cow is a new name for a corner. We've got Young Cow and we've got Holy Cow.
I think Holy Cow's probably in P11 at the moment. He's just turning up behind this pack, and it's James Hulkenberg. He's pitted for fresh tyres, and I think he's oh, hang on. No, that's Groover. I thought that was Hulkenberg then.
No, Hulkenberg's a little bit further back. I do just want to give a quick shout out while Groover's on camera there to Groover's pet pig that's called Pepper.
Well, GT5 King.
Yep.
I think he were about to turn in and then realised Hulkenberg were there and had a bit of a squeaky bum moment.
Yeah,
here we go.
I'm looking at the track map, James, so you keep an eye on it. I'm looking at the track map, and it looks like Demon R is all over the back of Steve F1. I wouldn't be surprised if we jump to that battle fairly soon. But yeah, Groover up the inside then are trying to defend Hulkenberg, but Hulkenberg's fresher tyres makes the move quite nicely. So Hulkenberg now has got Jason ahead of it, but Jason has been on those tyres for quite a few laps now, so it'll be interesting to see what he can do. But I mentioned that Demon R is catching up to Steve F1, and there is Steve F1, so the fight is on. There's what, 7 minutes left of this race. No more pit stops required. Who's your money on, James?
Do we know what tyres these two guys are both on?
They're both on the super soft tyre.
Ooh, I mean, I personally, I've been speaking to James Hulkenberg. He's been saying he much prefers the soft tyre. The consistency is better for him. But these two guys, if they prefer the super softs, I mean, they can't be wrong. They're miles in front of James Hulkenberg. So if they can take these super softs to the end of the race, it's just going to be who's got the better tyre wear, I think.
Quite possibly. I mean, there was pretty much nothing between these two in qualifying. The gap between them in qualifying, 0.055.
Could have been smaller.
It could have been. It could have been 0.054. But no, Demon R is really close on this occasion around turn 3. Steve F1 is going to have to work out whether he's going to be faster to defend and hold the position, or whether he's going to defend and hold the position. Yeah, I was going to say whether it's worth defending and holding the position, or whether it's worth just sticking to the racing line and basically saying to Demon R, if you want it, you're going to have to chuck it.
Yeah, because that's what James Hulkenberg did with SGP earlier. Kept on the racing line, and then as soon as somebody went for the move up the inside, turned in but left the car's width, and then it's down to the overtaking driver to really get on the brakes and make sure that they don't understeer.
Yeah, exactly. Because I mean, in that situation, even if a driver, let's say even if a driver is defending a corner and understeers a little bit wide, and you go for the undercut, if you then understeer and hit the guy who was ahead, it's still your fault for understeering and hitting that guy.
Yeah, you've got to, if you're going to go and shove it up the inside, you've got to go and make sure you absolutely destroy that apex.
Yeah, Demon R couldn't be much closer on the run down towards turn 1 on this occasion. So they're going to go side by side, are they? Yes, they are, side by side, heading up to turn 1. Steve F1's got the inside line. He may have to try braking a little late here to hold on to it, and yes, he has. Demon R has decided to, by the looks of it, see if he can do a little bit of a switch back through to 3, but Dave the Harp and SGP battling for 3rd. No, they're not, because SGP's into the pits.
SGP pits, so that I think that may have been a bit of an error for SGP, because he's Steve F1 just defending there, just managing to hold on to P1. I thought Demon R were going to probably do him on the exit there, but I'm not too sure. I don't know who's put my money on here between these two.
I thought Demon R was going to chuck it up the inside. I've got a feeling, that Demon R is kind of feeling Steve F1 out here.
Yeah.
Couple of dummies, checking if he's hard or not. Yeah. Couple of dummies, see what Steve F1 is going to do. Well, see where the opportunity arises.
Well, that's it. You want to practice with a few dummies, don't you, before you go before you go full on
Peppa Pig. Oh, is he going to try? He's not going to try around the outside. No. Steve F1, is he going to go defensive? No. Interestingly, doesn't go defensive for the final corner, and doing that gives him the best run out of the final corner as well.
But that, if Demonar keeps that in the memory bank, if he does the same move again, he knows that Steve F1's going to stick on the racing line. If he can try and shove it up the inside but hold the apex, that could really put Steve F1 off. But here comes SGP on fresh tyres now, on SRI.
I think SGP just wiped out SRI there.
Ooh, possibly.
Okay, he may not.
I think SRI just ran out of grip there and just planted the loud pedal, but here comes Demonar back in the slipstream of Steve F1. Is he going to do what I said, where kind of set Steve up for a bit of a mistake?
I mean, we've been bigging Steve F1 up for a while, as I said earlier on. Oh, it's a lovely run for Demonar. He's got the outside line though. Now Steve F1 will remember last championship racing around here, the Demonar overtook him up the inside into that corner. He was having absolutely none of it on this occasion. Covers the inside, goes defensive. Demonar taking the wider line to see if he can get a better exit out of turn whatever number that is. That's holy cow. To get into this position now, he's up the inside, is he? No, he's backed out of it.
Backed out of it. Steve F1, he's not getting flustered. I'm expecting Steve F1 to make slight mistakes, and yeah, this is the corner I think that Demonar really needs to shove it up the inside to try and prevent Steve F1 turning in at his normal apex, and hopefully through hesitation Demonar can then get a nice run. But Demonar's get a good run on this lap, to be fair.
That he has. I mean, I was going to say, for anyone watching, go back and have a look at turn 4 on the previous lap. You see how good Steve F1's awareness is as he goes defensive on this occasion into turn 1. Demonar looking for the switch back again, is he? Yes, he is. Opening up the entry into 2. Oh, he's had a little bit of a wiggle though. That could compromise him. Yeah, so turn 4 last lap, James. Steve F1 realised he was just far enough ahead to not have to defend. On this occasion, he's going to defend because he knows that Demonar is right there ready to take the position. So, oh, Steve F1's on the right, but Demonar's gone wide as well. Isn't there a bit of contact between the two of them? And Steve F1 maintains the lead there. Oh, you know what, we was talking about that a moment ago. If you're defending a corner and you run a little bit wide, if you're the guy that's going to try the overtake up the inside, you've got to make sure you don't then understeer and run into the guy that was ahead of you.
Yeah, indeed. But I've just realised that this is the battle of the Brits. Not only the drivers, but Steve F1's in an Aston Martin and Demonar's in a Jag.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't think about that.
Oh, Twilight under pressure from SGP, who obviously pitted, what, 4 minutes ago, I think it was. So yeah. SGP making maximum use of the tyres. But Hulkenberg, he's now all over the back of Dave the Harp. These two haven't really battled much between each other throughout the course of this race, but it's now fight on as we are into the last minute of the race. I think the leaders are definitely going to get one more lap.
Hulkenberg just did a bit of a switchback on Dave the Harp, and on way fresher tyres just blitzed in front of him.
That he did. Okay, so the race leaders are now on to the final lap of the race. I think 3rd and 4th are also going to get another lap. Demonar is really close to the back of Steve F1. It's this lap or bust. He couldn't be much closer. Steve F1 defending hard though.
Yeah, and he's forcing him off the racing line. Steve F1's going to have to nail that braking, and he does. But is this going to give Demonar a bit of a slingshot?
You know, that's beautiful defending from Steve F1, letting the car run wide so he can hold the inside line into this corner. He's going to have to make sure he keeps it tight on the exit of this corner though, otherwise no, Demonar's going to go for the outside. Can he make it work? No, Steve F1 carries as much speed into the corner as he can do and parks it on the apex. This is brilliant defensive driving.
Is Demonar going to shove it up the inside? No, he's going to the outside again. I think Demonar really needs to set him up for this final corner.
He's ran wide. I think Demonar just got a wheel on the grass there. He's still there. One more corner to go then. He needs Steve F1 to bottle it. But Steve F1 is not bottling it.
Yeah, fantastic driving there. But is the slipstream going to pay the price now? Is Demonar close enough to beat him to the line? Here we go.
Steve F1's heart must be in his rear end at the moment. Demonar is closing. There's only a few yards to go, and Steve F1 takes the victory. Demonar comes second place, and Hulkenberg has got himself into 3rd place as Dave the Harp puts a wheel on the grass. So it's a podium for Hulkenberg. Oh my goodness me.
Yeah, can you believe it? That is.
Oh, Twilight's still battling. Sorry, James. Twilight, Fluffy Planet, and Jason still battling. Jason, he was in 8th, is now in 7th. Is he going to get past Twilight as well? Twilight's had a phenomenal race. He can't be dropped down to 8th. Surely can he? He might be. He's battling with Fluffy. Jason, somewhere out of nowhere, pops up into 6th place, and then it's Fluffy. Then it's Twilight. Oh my goodness me.
Yeah, that is showing how close it can be. Twilight's been up in P4 for the majority of the race and then finishes down in P6. But yeah, what a fantastic win there for Steve F1 in the Aston Martin, beating the jag-ridden Demon R.
Yeah, well done, Steve. I mean, fair play to him. He fully deserved that race. I mean, we both know Demon R is not an easy person to overtake and stay ahead of, but to defend against him like Steve F1 did there, that shows me that Steve F1 learned exactly what Demon R did to him at Brazil in the last championship in different cars, and basically said, I'm not letting you do that this time. Yeah,
he showed what Jackie Stewart would say. He drove with pure finesse.
That he did. Apart from the little mistake that he made. But then Demon R messed up as well. But no, I've got to say, that was an absolutely phenomenal race. Not only from Steve F1 and Demon R, SGP, Hulkenberg up into 3rd place. A surprise. Definitely a surprise to me. But well done to him. Dave the Harp, a tricky one. He had a great start to the race again, but the pack was his enemy once again. But 4th place, can't argue with that. Who finished in 5th?
SGP pitted one more pit stop than Hulkenberg and Dave the Harp, but Dave the Harp had gone slightly earlier on his pit stops, which then meant his final stint were a bit too long, and that's where he lost out to Hulkenberg on the final couple of laps. SGP, unfortunately, he was doing something very similar to Dave the Harp, only he decided rather than doing a really long stint at the end, he was going to pit for fresh tyres and then battle his way through the pack. He did battle his way through the pack, but unfortunately he was just way too far behind Dave the Harp to give him any hassle.
That it was. In 6th place we had Jason. I'm not surprised about that.
Out of nowhere once again.
Yep. 7th place Fluffy Planet, I think it was. Only his 2nd race, so can't argue. I mean, he qualified 7th in the last race, and he qualified 7th here, and he finished 7th, so obviously he likes 7. Just
Twilight, he were doing fantastic. I mean, it just showing you them fine margins. One lap before, Twilight would have come away with P6, but unfortunately, just because of that final lap and that final straight, which isn't really straight, the slipstream just beat him. So unfortunately for him, even though he had such a fantastic race, that's all it took were probably about 20 seconds of racing, dropped him 2 positions. Yeah, definitely. Behind him, I think, was Formula Gary in 9th place. He's been improved. He's still improving. I mean, the thing is, we know that pack is mental. SRI finished in 10th place. He had a very exciting race, although I have heard that his live stream may have a few bleeps on it. I know behind SRI, I will have a look at the proper race finishing order in a moment. But behind SRI, we had there was GT5 King on his debut, and I'm hearing as well that he used the medium tyres in the race. I think he may have been one of the only ones. From what I heard, the medium tyres in practice were awful, so he might not want to use them again. Who else was there? Dex on his debut, tough race for him. Unfortunately, if he can get on and practice before the next one, he'll find it massively beneficial. And Rich Blues, first race on a wheel, we never saw him spinning. I never heard anything about him having a crash or making a mess of things. I've not heard any stories of him wiping anybody out, so first race on a wheel, you've got to take that as a positive. Indeed. Yeah, absolutely fantastic racing all the way through the field. The odd bang here and there, but you've got to say with the pack so tight together, there's gonna be contact here, there, and everywhere, but most of the racing, absolutely spot on.
Yeah, I mean, I believe there's a new video clip just after the intro at the start of this video, and it's to do with educate, not humiliate. And to be fair, I know it's not easy when drivers find themselves in that pack, because you want to attack cars ahead of you, but you got to be careful of cars behind you. But if everyone kind of has the same mentality of not just going, oh, you know what, there's 3 cars wide there, but there's a little bit of a gap, I'm going to go for it anyway, that mentality ends up in time loss and carnage. Whereas if I hold back a moment, all 3 of those are going to be really slow, and I can just easily drive past a lot of them.
Yeah, and unfortunately as well, I think some of the been speaking to Dave the Art from race 1. He found that obviously, because there's such a differential between fresh tyres and old tyres, that the guys on the old tyres, not that they're not entitled to race, because they're well and truly entitled to race because they're fighting for position, but he just finds that the difference in grip, it's like being in a completely different category.
Yeah.
When it comes to braking into let's say for example we're into a tight braking zone like turn 1 in Austria, the braking zone for old tyres is way different to brand new tyres. So
it's not just
so that people are just a bit more aware that people may look like they're just going for a dive bomb, but really, people on fresh tyres they're on fresh tyres and they're using them to their advantage, and not to feel like, what they're doing.
Yeah, I think it's not just in braking zones either. I mean, we saw in last race with Jason on fresh tyres in the pack, going through the fast left-right at the Red Bull Ring, and he was able to carry so much more speed through there that it caught him out, and he had to take evasive action between the 2 corners. And it's so easy to find yourself in that situation. But I mean, for anyone that isn't aware, that having your radar on is a massive help. That's a certain. So yeah, if you've not been using radar, put your radar on. It does help. Awareness can be massively crucial. That's why I highlighted about Steve F1. His awareness in that defence was phenomenal. He knew exactly when Demon R was just too far away to attack, so he knew he didn't have to defend. And he knew exactly when Demon R was just close enough that he had to defend. But once he defended, he did it in a way that would cost him the least amount of time. So absolutely phenomenal driving for Steve F1. And although I joked that I wasn't happy about it, I'm absolutely delighted that he won the race there, and he did it in that fashion. It's brilliant to see.
Well, he won the final race of the Toyota Championship, and in a way, he's proving once again. It's only been 2 races since his last victory. He could possibly be the contender. He's got a bit of an uphill struggle due to him not finishing the first race, but if he carries on with the pace he's shown this week at Brazil, carries on in the final 6 races of this season. 7? Oh yeah, 7 races. He could definitely be a title contender.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, James, thank you very much for joining me once again on commentary.
No problem at all.
He's been James from I'll Tell You What TV. I've been Dave from I'll Tell You What TV. Hope you've enjoyed the commentary, and now we shall take a look at the confirmed race order, see if there's any stewarding situations to sort out or have been sorted out, and have a look at the championship order. Make sure you check out Dynamic GT League as well on Facebook if you're interested in joining a league. So let's crack on with the race result. Okay, so I've been handed a piece of paper from the steward, and it's a plain piece of paper, mate. Sorry, what? Oh, Okay, so there's no reports placed at all. Fantastic, that's exactly what everybody likes to hear. Okay, so the result is as it was on the track. Steve F1 takes the victory from Demon R in second place, James Hulkenberg in third, Dave the Harp in fourth, SGP in fifth. Jason doing what he does, popping up at the end to take 6th place. Fluffy Planet started 7th, finished 7th. Twilight finished 8th, unfortunately. Formula Gary finished in 9th, with GT5 King 10th on his debut. DGT League SRI finished in 11th, with Rich Blues 12th, Groover 13th, and Dexy Drum in 14th, with all drivers scoring points. Right, let's take a look at what that's done to the championship standings. After race 2 then of 9, Demon R leads the way on 37 points. We've then got DGT League SGP in second place on 28 points. We then have a tie for third with Twilight, Dave the Harp and James Hulkenberg all on 23 points. Steve F1 taking that victory today means that he's in 6th on 20 points, with DGT League SRI and Fluffy Planet joint 7th on 18 points. Formula Gary, he's in 9th on 13 points, with Rich Blues in 10th with 11 points. We've then got Bunsel in 11th with 8 points, Jason in 12th on 7, and then GT5 King with 6, Groover with 5, Dex with 2, Iceman, Rodders and Tyler all on 0, but I have heard that Iceman and Rodders may not be able to make the races this season. Tyler hopefully will be able to take one of their places permanently. Anyway, thank you for joining us for round 2 of 9 of the Dynamic GT League Red Bull Junior Championship. Make sure you check us out next week, where we will be racing at Cirque de la Sarthe with no chicanes. See you again soon.